Welcome to Screencast, our only entertainment podcast where we come together and talk about Watchmen and all the fun spoilers that came with this season.
Yay! Spoilers.
Who watches The Watchmen, Kevin? That's what
We
I wanna
do.
know.
HBO,
We do.
home box office.
Skadooch, skadooch.
This show is streamed live every week, Thursday, Friday. It's kind of
Whenever it has to happen.
Sometimes it's twice a week. You know?
Like today.
Yeah,
This is your
like
second
today.
screencast
Yeah.
back to back.
Yeah.
Round of
Special
applause for
edition.
Kevin.
Yeah.
And that two costume changes too. Like
I-
that's impressive.
Yeah.
You know what
Man,
I
I
mean?
gotta stop letting people bully me into things. You can watch us live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, or if you don't have time to watch us live and want to catch us as a VOD, you can go to YouTube or Rooster Teeth. If you want to listen to us and not see us, you can go to any of your favorite podcast streaming services and find us there. Yes, Greg.
Since we can bully you into stuff, I think you should button your thing up the whole way because then you'll be super blue.
Yeah,
That's
you'll
so
be
smart.
You know what I
You
mean?
nailed
You'll
it.
be right blue
When
on.
Am I
Kevin
gonna be
walks-
real hot? Like,
Great.
Yeah, oh yeah. Aren't you already though?
oh yeah.
When
It's
Kevin
like-
walks down the hallway, I thought we were doing Braveheart in review.
Audio listeners, you owe it to yourself to go check out youtube.com/kindoffunny.
It's December 19th. It's 12:42 p.m. We're still talking about cats.
That's an interesting movie, man.
Yeah, sure it is.
Yeah.
First time on the show. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, dude, thanks for
I'm really
being
excited
on.
about it.
Introducing my co-host, we've got first Nick, the man with the three-fingered review, Scarpino,
Where do you think this one's going to rank on my review?
Middle
In
finger.
the bottom, the middle, or the top?
top.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it depends on what side you're doing it.
That's true.
To your right, Andy's left, we have Greg, the man himself, Miller.
Konnichiwa.
How you doing, Miller?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good.
I love your commitment to the craft today.
Man,
You know what I mean?
it's too much.
No,
you know?
it's great. It's
too
perfect.
much.
I
Yeah.
should have done more eyeliner on the
You-
right eye.
The
No,
best is since
no.
since the beard gets in the way, he just looks more like he kind of is like an ultimate warrior. He
does look like a warrior.
Holy
It's so
shit.
dumb. To your right,
Grab
my
the
left.
ropes.
To Greg's right, my left. We've got one, Andy, the artist, Cortez.
I did it, yeah. Makeup
Yeah,
artist,
you-
professional.
every
A
time.
mua. I'm a mua. Makeup artist is what they call
Oh,
them.
that's cool.
Baba
Whoa.
Booey, Baba
Is that one of
Booey.
your guys' terms?
No. Wait, what do you mean? Ours guys?
Like artists.
Oh, no.
Like
I don't
in
know.
the art world.
I
you
just
guys
see it
like,
on
hey, we're
Instagram.
muas.
I have a few friends that are makeup artists, but they always have mua. Just to let people know what
That's
they do.
cool.
Their
That's
craft.
rad, yeah. You guys excited to talk about Watchmen?
I am.
I am.
Because I am.
We've kind of held it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know we haven't talked about it too much. There's been a little sprinkling here and there.
We can finally unleash because I feel like on most of the other podcasts, we hint at it. We hint at.
Well, we're trying to be
We've been
spoiler
hinting-
free.
Yeah, sure.
And like that's a
On the
nice
other
thing to
podcasts.
do.
Here we're spoiling
yeah,
everything.
No,
Okay.
everything. Right from the beginning. Watchmen, big old dick. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a huge
Lots
As
of
it should be.
difference in it.
Yeah.
giant blue wiener. Yeah. Veiny.
I really liked this. I think this is arguably one of the best, like, start to finish seasons of television HBO's ever done.
100%.
And I was expecting to. I went in when we saw the original TikTok trailers for it.
Yeah.
It was like TikTok with Don Johnson and all that stuff. And I'm like, this has the potential to be really, really like philosophically deep and cool, or it could be a hot fucking mess.
Yes.
And when it started off, I was like, all right, we're about 3 episodes in. I was like, they're setting up a lot of cool shit, but I don't know if it's gonna pay off.
Before
well.
we jump too far into it, I want to know what's your background with Watchmen for all of you guys. So Nick, what's the had you read the comics? Did you
I
watch
wrote the
movies?
original comic in the
Holy
80s.
shit.
Alan Moore?
Alan Moore.
I am Alan Moore.
I knew you were old, but I didn't realize you were this old.
Oh, that's just me. That's just me.
I expected him to look a lot younger.
No, so okay, but I look a lot younger.
It's because I've seen Alan Moore at Comic Cons. He's taller. So it's just
yeah,
weird.
a lot
He
taller.
looks a lot more like Rob Zombie. I only read the comic book, the graphic novel rather, right before the Snyder film came out. So I had zero touchstone
Release the Snyder Cut.
for Watchmen. Saw the
They
trailer
did.
come out and I was like, oh, this looks like a cool movie, but I would like to know. I'm sure the movie's going to miss parts, which it did, but I think they did a pretty good job. I think Snyder did a really good job
Yeah.
of translating it fairly well
Yeah.
to the screen. And I read the comic book. Actually, I think, you know what? I think I watched the movie first.
Oh, interesting.
And then I was like, that was kind of cool. And I went back and read the comic book and was like, aside from the Dread Pirate Robert stuff, this was a really, really cool, and you know, the ending being different, all that stuff was cool. But I'm glad I did because obviously the ending for that plays a pretty big part in the HBO series.
A huge part.
Yeah, and which is great.
Yeah.
And so yeah, coming into this, I was like, I have nothing but good memories of the Watchmen products up to this point. And then when I saw Don Johnson and Regina King, like the cast, I was like, this looks like a great cast. Production value is fucking off the charts. And the fact that they're like, we're just going to set it 40 years in the future and we're going to have this other cool story that's happening. usually I'd be like, all right, well, you know,
Do I really care?
do I really
Why
give a
should
shit?
I care?
But they
But
really
they did
make you
such
care.
a good job. Yeah.
And it just goes to show you, like, whenever people do prequel stuff, I can't get this hype. But whenever you actually say, hey, it's going to be a continuation of the story with characters that we know, and honestly, the fact that it's a continuation of the Dr. Manhattan story that's where all the power, in my opinion, comes from, literally and figuratively, is that you have this being that people, like, it makes sense that if this guy existed,
Right.
that every fucked up narcissist would want this guy's power, right?
Yeah.
Myself included. If I had a possibility to get that power, you'd be like, you could do literally anything. You'd be a god. And so that's the only reason
It's
when we
one
start,
of the most fascinating characters I
it's
think
so cool
ever made.
But then, like, to take it even further and have him be this omniscient, like, being, but also he can't stop his own death is, like,
Is that he
fascinating.
can't stop or he doesn't care?
I think it's that there's something about the way he lives and experiences time that makes him powerless to stop, to, like, affect or change things. I don't know, because he does, in fact.
He experiences everything at once. So
Yeah.
even though he knows where it's going, he's not going to stop it. And it is part of not caring. I think is too cold a term to put on it, because that's the thing, is I think it's a different. This sounds super and heady, but it's a different emotion to deal with. Then I think it's not him not caring. I mean, that's always been the knock against Dr. Manhattan,
Right.
That he, as he became more and more the Doctor
He
and
could
less
have
and
been
less
good.
human, right?
Yeah.
Like the scene of him with Laurie back in the comic, right, where there's multiple Manhattans having sex with her.
Yeah.
And she storms
like,
out and
"Where
starts
are you?"
yelling at him. He's like, I thought you would enjoy it. Like, he's slowly losing his humanity
right.
to the
The
point that,
connection there.
where he gets to the end, he doesn't.
What's your
He
pass
doesn't
to the Watchmen?
care. My pass to the Watchmen. Thank you very much, Andy. Nick's just gab. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's-
If he isn't over here chopping on a cigar, going stogie.
He's writing Watchmen comics.
As everybody knows, I'm a comic book guy. I love comics. I'm a DC guy. So, I mean, Watchmen forever has been on a pedestal, right? And I think my history with it, I mean, I tried to read it super young. You know what I mean? Like when I was first getting into comics and Wizard wouldn't shut up about it and how great it was. And to go back there and have it be such a dense comic that wasn't superheroes punching
Heavy.
for the most part, right? And like, yeah, it's a comic, one of the few comics, I put it up there with Kingdom Come, that I come back to. I'd say not once a year, but maybe once every year and a half, every 2 years. You want to get back in there and refresh it. Because, yeah, it's dense. You always find something different in it. You always find a new motivation in it.
Now that you're older and you've learned more.
100%. And I think that's the other thing, too, with it as the story, as you know, maybe the most acclaimed graphic novel of our time, right? I think there is something that coming back to that in different stages of your life, you see yourself in different characters in different pieces, especially as you get older and start to have regrets. You know what I mean? Like the comedian would or something like that.
No.
You?
I never grew up reading comic books. I've
Never learned how to read.
I've read never learned how to read.
You got a lot of pictures in there.
I've read maybe 4 comic books in my life. I just never had a whole lot. I was never exposed to that. We didn't really have comic book shops back where I grew up, so I never had that opportunity. But when the movie came out, I wanted to watch it immediately, and I did, and I loved it. And it's one of my favorite superhero movies. I think it deals with a lot of really interesting themes, and I appreciated, I think at that time of my life, I appreciated the darkness to it and just how kind of fucked up a lot of it is, you know? And
It's a weird mishmash of our world, right? And
Yeah.
superheroes being in our world.
And it's a cool realization of this. Yeah, this isn't Gotham. This is very sort of set in real life. It reminds me of if what they did with BioShock and that real world. How those weird sort of settings are mixed. And I loved everything about it. I really enjoyed the movie. So watching this was such a breeze to me because I knew that things were going to be different in the show.
Did you like look up how the comic ends?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess what I was trying to get to is that it was such a breeze to me because I want to learn more. And I watched a couple video essays and some people that would put out stuff and say, hey, this video is going to sort of catch you up and give you more tidbits. Like, I want to learn this world so much. So that almost knocked over your water. And so that's why this show was such an easy watch for me, because I think a lot of the issue people had with this show is, man, people are going to be lost watching this. How can a new person watch this? But for me, it's like, I just want to. I don't care. I don't mind learning
But you
more.
had seen the movie though.
Yeah, I'd seen the movie, so
like,
I knew the general characters.
But I love that. Like, what a risk for HBO to do. Like,
Yeah.
and that was the thing is, you talk about like the TikTok trailer and all stuff. It wasn't until I think maybe I sat down for episode 1 But maybe it was a conversation leading up to episode 1, like that weekend, where someone finally explained to me where it was in the timeline and what was happening. I thought when it got announced, I thought they were rebooting, and it was I had looked at nothing. I had done none of it. I was like, I'm going to watch no matter what. And so to get there and be like, oh, and it's a sequel to the comic, like, wow, what an awesome thing. But as a comic reader, I was like, how are you going to possibly catch people up on it? How are you going to explain the relationships? And the answer is they don't.
Yeah.
They're like, here you go. If you don't want to read Watchmen, you don't really need to know who Laurie Blake is. She's an FBI agent. She has a history with these people. This is where it is. And I was like, fuck, that's awesome. What a great idea.
Yeah, I think they do the bare minimum job of educating the audience and expecting them to be like, you guys gotta figure this shit out on your own. Like they do not. They do not bow down to the audience.
And that's so cool. I mean, at least for like, it's interesting because I would like to hear someone's take who isn't as into it. Maybe has just seen the movie and not thought about it anymore.
Yeah.
But it's
I mean, that's Jen in the other room. Like, when she came in to watch it, she didn't read the comics. She had seen the movie in French, years ago.
Similar to me, my dad had only watched the movie maybe twice back in the day, and it had been a while. So I texted him one night. Because we always find the show that we sort of watch along simultaneously. We'll text each other about it, call each other about it. And I said, you have to watch Watchmen. It's really, really good. And I just finished episode 2, and I didn't know what to expect, but it seems like we're getting a really good quality show with awesome writing and
I think you've seen that reflected,
cool interactions.
Right? You haven't seen people saying they're lost in it. It's just them saying how much they dug it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like even from the initial trailer, right, where you're starting to get to me, Watchmen, the core of it is like you take these characters that are incredibly complex and you explore those complexities, and sometimes they're at odds with each other, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the characters in the original one, especially the comedians, stuff like that, were like, these are anti-heroes.
Right.
To put it nicely.
Yeah.
They're barely heroes.
Like the comedian is a piece of shit, and Rorschach is kind of borderline crazy.
Yeah.
And these are like the two.
But,
and then Manhattan's a perfect example of like what we're talking about, right? Where like DC would write this character as this as Superman for the most part, right? Where this character is the symbol of good. He is trying to find his humanity. He's doing all these things. With Dr. Manhattan, he gets the power and then loses his humanity, and that's such a fascinating space to play around in and write stories in, because it gives you so much, like so many cool conflicts that you can have pop up. If you've got a character that can save the world, but he's also living in every time simultaneously, then none of it matters. Why would he save anyone? Right. And if he's not human anymore, why would he give a shit about any of the things that we're dealing with? It's such a cool concept to mess around with. And then the fact that like he did manage to fall in love with someone and then chooses not to have that power and forget all about it. It's like fucking, this is
so
awesome.
rad, man. What a crazy
great
reveal
idea
that was.
Like the duality of basically, I think a lot of that is like the duality of man, of what we're seeing, like with what was it, the superhero that was wore the noose around his neck.
Hood of Justice.
Hood of Justice, where he is a cop, but he realizes that in order to actually get
be more
real justice, he has to become a vigilante, and like. And then what that does to his life, where it starts to like at first he takes the power back, but then it destroys his life and his family, and they move away from him because he gets too much in that.
He has to fake being a white man.
It's crazy.
Yeah. For them also to go back and explore that character further is just like, what a great, like they did that in such a cool way that like when we first saw him, I was like, I bet you that's the Hood of Justice. Like when you first see him in the wheelchair and he's got the red on, and I was like. But then, like as the story goes on, I was like, I have no idea what the hell's going on.
The play that's happening, the TV show that's happening, and Hood of Justice is a white guy,
right?
And you're like, oh, that can't be this guy. And then you realize he had to be that.
What was it called? A Real American Hero story?
Minutemen.
The
subtitle might have been Real American.
Yeah, it was like O.J. The People versus O.J.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
like
the TV show was very much People of O.J.
I thought even that was done so well because it was just the right amount of cheesy.
Oh yeah. The actors did a great job at portraying that they were acting in this show. It was pretty cool.
Even from the beginning, right? Seeing that first trailer where you see this sort of like neo-Nazi organization, but they've co-opted the Rorschach masks. And knowing who Rorschach was and how he was really, when you think about it, the only real hero from Watchmen. The only person who was like, I'm willing to give my life because you're going to kill 3 million people. I'm going to try to stop you. And everyone else was like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's no stopping.
He kind of has a good idea. Like, maybe we have to do this.
And it's already happened.
And the fact that he was like, I don't care. I know this is going to lead to my death. Yeah. But I'm going to be like, I'm going to let you kill me because I need the other people to see me sacrifice myself to realize how much of a big fucking mistake they're making. And then to have that symbol be co-opted by this fucked up white supremacist group is just so fucking crazy.
So cool.
And what an interesting starting point.
Yeah. And just to answer my own question, like I read the comic right before the movie came out because I didn't know it existed beforehand, even though I did read comics growing up, and they were mostly Marvel. And really, really liked the comic book. And then at the end, I was always like, what the hell? That's a weird way to end it. And then when the movie came out, I was like, oh, man, that makes so much more sense. Having everyone afraid of Dr. Manhattan and that being the perpetual fear is awesome. But the way the show utilized the squids...
Yeah, way better. Way
oh, my
smarter.
God, so smart.
That makes way more
Yeah.
sense. So the fact that he's continually... But, like, even that becomes the symbol for his narcissism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he thinks the world still needs him. So he has to keep doing these squid attacks to, quote-unquote, continue to save the world.
Right.
And you get that one beautiful scene at the very, very end where Laurie's just like... Or it's Laurie, right?
Yeah.
He's just like, shut the fuck up. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
You think
Quit
you're doing this
talking.
thing, but you're not. And
Oh,
he's like,
man.
you can't. And
He
she just
talks
fucking
too
hits him in the
much.
head. She's like, you're just a guy. You're just a man who's very smart, who thought he saved the world, but you don't fucking know. Like, you don't know. You know?
He set the clock backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get out of its way.
So where did the show grab your like attention? Where, like at what point were you like, holy shit, this is a great show? Because I feel like the first couple episodes, I was very confused. And granted, in retrospect, I love the way they did that, where it's like they're setting up all these questions.
We're
And
dropped in these people's lives.
Yeah, and I was very scared that we wouldn't get answers with this show. And I feel like they gave us all the answers.
It's
So-
weird for me to say this because I'm usually
Yeah.
the person that harps on a season being a slow burn. I'm usually the person that's like, if I have to watch more than 2 episodes to get into a show, fuck you. But I think it was probably around mid-season.
Yeah.
Where I was like, this is an interesting show. They're setting up a lot of stuff, but they're not explaining anything to me. And it's Damon Lindelof, and you fooled me twice already. So you got me with Lost and with Prometheus. So if you do this again, where we don't get answers to this shit by the end of the season, I'm gonna be pissed off. And then I think it was, I forget. There was an episode before this, but the episode that really was in my opinion the perfect example of what the show can accomplish is the one where he walks into the bar and starts talking to her. And it's all done in flashbacks and flash forwards, which I think is like episode 7.
Yeah, you're way
Yeah,
later.
It was
than
closer
that.
to the
Yeah.
end. It was maybe 5.
Episode
I
8,
believe.
a god walks into a
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah.
Into a bar. Sorry.
What a great episode.
That was when I realized.
title.
That was when I
Yeah.
realized this show is genius. Up until this point, I'm like, this is cool, and I see where this is going, and I'm liking this. And there's like these red herrings with the senator being this like the leader of the group, and like him just
Trying to be
utilizing them to
president.
get
It's
president.
like, what is he
the Lady
doing?
True
Yeah.
stuff, I'm like, this is cool. I can see what's going on. Actually, I apologize. The black and white episode, I think, was
Yes,
probably the
that
episode
was
that
for
really
me
got
too.
me.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be a whole flashback episode, and I was fucking riveted the
It was
entire
done
time.
the
so
entire
well.
times.
But it wasn't until they told that story where he was like, you're gonna fall in love with me. It's gonna end tragically. That I was like, oh, this should win an Emmy. Like, this is a fucking perfect episode of a TV show. So well done, so easy to follow, but also like you feel like you're lost in time with him and with her. And then the fact that she actually was the one that started all this shit by accident, fucking mind blowing.
It's pretty. It's brilliant. I think what I enjoy most in the show is when I am shocked by certain things that are revealed to the viewer, and then I ask myself, how in the hell did somebody even think of
that, yeah.
this, of how to write this? And those are the moments that I enjoy the most when I think of the Fring moment with the wheelchair in Breaking Bad explosion. When I think of Cersei planet or the whole sept being exploded intro of that Game of Thrones episode where we're following all this tragic intro and we know, oh my gosh, the wheels are turning and something's about to happen.
Or like or the Red Wedding episode where you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
they just killed off the
Yeah.
guy we thought was going to win this thing. Like, whoa,
Exactly,
this shit's going down.
I think when moments like that happen in this show where I can't even fathom where you even start on a storyboard or you even start writing how this thing is going to lead to the other. I mean, I think the show, I was grabbed immediately. I think after episode 1, I knew it was going to be a really good show. I didn't know it was going to be a almost perfect show in my opinion, where I look back at this and this is easily one of the best seasons of any show I've ever watched. I put this up there with the first season of True Detective.
Me
I
too.
put this up there with Breaking Bad and, most of Game of Thrones.
I think True
it's
Detective
great.
season 1 is a perfect analog to this, where I that might etch this out a little bit more for the just raw power of that show and how fucking eerie it was and the performances. But this show, I think, what that lacks, this show has in a very, very deep complexity that is perfectly executed.
See,
and like,
I think
sorry.
this is above True Detective for me. But I think it's a great analog. But I think this nudges it out because I think it's the same thing of what you're talking about. Is those moments of what the fuck, like, you know what I mean? Like when Angela puts it all together or we think she's putting it all together, and in reality, she's just running home to Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
And it's like that thing,
That
and you
was
start
amazing.
like, oh, fuck. And you start seeing the pieces locking in your own head of like, amnesia doesn't work that way. Why would this happen? And like, oh my God, how did they do that? And how does he not know? And she has that hammer, and she's like, I'm sorry.
Sorry, baby.
True ass.
Sorry, baby.
And then it
We're
starts to
fucking
glow, and then it
trouble.
starts to glow. She's like, sorry,
Yeah.
baby. We're fucking. You see the blue glow
Yeah.
on her. You're like, oh my God.
When Lady True is like, I just told you that Dr. Manhattan is here, and you didn't ask me
Who?
who.
Yes, I told you he
And
was
it's
living
just
in
like-
Tulsa, and you didn't ask me who he was. Yeah, because you know who he is.
Oh
But it hadn't hit
my
me though.
God.
I was
See,
in the-
I was there
the
with-
second
I
she
was
said that,
with-
I was like, it's her husband.
I
'Cause
was
he's a
in
little
the-
weird the entire time.
Yeah.
Where he was like, I'm
Yeah.
not. Like that actor, I gotta look up his name.
He's great.
Played it perfectly.
Yeah.
Where he's just a little like, you're like, is he just a little?
He's like, baby,
off?
I don't know what he like. You had a long day. Are you all right?
Right.
Blah, blah, you know.
And then when she cracks open his head and takes out that awesome little like prop that they have, which I assume was CG.
Yeah.
But,
The floating little circle.
there's a great scene that happened in that happens the episode afterward where you're with Manhattan and he's skipping through the times.
Yeah.
Where he's talking to Adrian, or he's talking to
Adrian, you're right.
Adrian Veidt, right?
Yep.
And he goes, yada yada yada. He has one throwaway line where he's like, "Well, you know, he's like, where are you right now?" He's like, "Well, you're trying to kill me." He goes, "Oh yeah, sorry about that."
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so great.
Oh yeah, sorry about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Like, because it's 30 years later or 20 years later in the 80s, and he's like, "Oh my bad."
I think immediately when
Or
the first
90s.
episode ends and the man we don't know is Hooded Justice is sitting there next to Don Johnson hanging from a tree and says, "I killed him." No, you didn't. Yeah, I killed him. And we get the slow zoom away, and then you realize that the note that he's holding is the same note that the young boy in the beginning of
Yep.
the episode had.
that
And from then on, I thought, okay, I'm in. This is going to be a really good show. And I think the show kept presenting really crazy kind of questions that you would think to yourself, that's probably something that won't get answered. This
Yep.
is Damon Lindelof.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Yep.
they fucking answered.
and it answered well.
And
I
think that's the show's biggest triumph is that they not only answered them. We could get answers to these questions we have, and they could be, you know, this reveal happens and we think, oh, that's kind of lame. But I never had that moment when Adrian Veidt goes into the machine and is poured gold onto him
I thought he
to
was dead.
freeze
I thought he
him.
was dead, yeah.
Well, no, when they freeze him, right, in the gold,
Yep.
and then it's revealed, oh, that's the statue from episode
Why did
3
you
or
make him
4.
look old? Yeah.
Holy
I was like,
shit.
exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
That
God.
that was one of those like, oh
That was
my God,
cool.
this was just planned from the beginning.
Well, I thought
This
it was
is so
fucked up. I thought
impressive.
she was gonna freeze him and then just keep him in the foyer.
I thought
as a
so, too.
statue.
I thought-
didn't
I
think
was
she's
like,
ever.
yeah,
I was like, oh my God, that's so fucked up. She saved him just to kill him.
Yeah.
Just to have him forever like frozen in this
She
moment.
just waited to take him out at the perfect time.
But even the
It's just so
reveal
brilliantly
of
done.
where he was.
Yep.
Yep.
Was like-
I was like, so Dr. Manhattan sent him there as punishment, right? He's in
Right.
jail. He's this is some kind of thing. What dimension is he in?
But even that's like so complex, right? Because he didn't send him.
No,
send him
no,
there for
yeah, but
punishment.
then we get the reveal. Yeah, no, he
sent
sent him to
there
heaven.
To heaven, knowing
It would
that
drive
he
him
would
mad.
it would drive him mad.
Yeah.
But not on purpose, but just being like, again, I think a perfect example of who Dr. Manhattan is, where he's like, I am not pulling strings at all.
He's so
I am simply
narcissistic.
just letting things happen.
Right.
And you are, and people, because I can't, because you have to think about it. If you existed in all the time, you wouldn't really have the capability of, like, why would you want to affect something in the past? Why would it matter? Nothing would matter. So you just let shit play out how it's going to play out, and that is what it is.
To answer your question, for me, it was number 3, episode 3, which is the Laurie Blake episode.
Oh,
'Cause I think
where she's telling the jokes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was the thing for
The
me of
end
like
of that one was
getting
so-
introduced to it, and again going in completely blind on purpose and
Yeah.
not wanting to know anything. When you start going through episodes 1 and 2, it's like, cool. This is the reverberations of Watchmen.
Yeah.
Which means I'm going to see echoes. I'm going to see Dr. Manhattan on TV on Mars doing whatever. But I was of the mind, because I was getting it as it went, that it wasn't going to be actually that
Connected,
closely.
right.
At that point, I'm like,
I
you're
thought the
introducing
same
new
thing.
characters. You're going to tell me a
Yeah.
new story in their world. Awesome. Let's see what's going on. You know what I mean? Rorschach is a way to get around it with the white supremacists. But then to have Laurie show up, see her what it's like, 34 years later, what that's done to her,
Right.
see her as this shell of a human, see her, in the phone booth, still desperately trying to talk to John because he's the one person that, like, understands everything there. The questions of, what happened to Owlman, or, you know what I mean?
That's an interesting point, and I want to bring that up because, like, when we're in the future, when we talk about season 2, like, could there be anything there? I think that, like, that's where we could jump off on. But continue.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's all it, right? And telling the joke and seeing her broken, seeing her relationship with this pipsqueak the FBI sent with her, where she is, what does she think of Angela, the fact she can see through everybody's bullshit.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Like,
She's
oh,
so
this is
cool.
what we're doing. And as we talk to Manhattan, we're going to get back to this. This is going to be a major thing.
I love that, like, as soon as she walks in, she just diffuses everyone's like.
She calls him Mirror Guy.
Yeah, Mirror Guy.
Yeah.
Because but I love that too because she's like I'm an FBI agent. She understands the need for their secrecy because she went through that herself, but she also understands the kind of redundancy of it and the uselessness of it.
Well, she's over how ridiculous this is, right? She's not
already
running around in tights anymore.
Yeah, and because it didn't solve anything when she was there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love that she was the one character that's like been there, done that. And like, you guys think you need to do this, but it's not going to play out the way you think it's going to play out.
I thought she was phenomenally acted.
What's that actress's name?
The ability to, or the constant need to always,
Jean Smart.
the constant need to always have this sort of character that she's playing, where even when she is scared, even when she is worried about a situation, she still has to be
she's so cool.
this badass that just doesn't give a shit. And sure, you could do whatever you want. And then we see that moment where the senator goes, "Oh, you're going to care about this one, though."
Yeah.
And then hints to her that he's going to become Dr. Manhattan. And you see the worry, you
Like,
see
shit.
her,
Yeah.
you see her emote, and it's so well done.
Also, when
about
she
that-
sees Dr. Manhattan for the first time.
Yeah.
And like there
Really
is that
well done.
moment like where she breaks that character and she's just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I
Did you notice
agree.
that the dildo, did you know what it was called?
I saw it, but I don't remember what it is now.
Excalibur,
Interesting.
because it's X and then Cal and then A-bar.
Oh.
So it was her ex, whatever.
I going off that, I love just going over to Lady True story. I like everything that they did with her, where she cloned her mom, and she was this, and she was his
I wanted
daughter,
my mom to be there.
and all this stuff, and the fact that you almost for a second believe that she's altruistic, and if she gets this power, she'll save the world. But Laurie has one line where she's like, "No, you're not. Like, we can't." I think it's either her or Regina King's character, but someone along the line is like, everyone always starts with the best intentions, but like, when does that ever fucking works?
Yeah.
When does it ever play out? Even Dr. Manhattan wasn't what we wanted him to be. If we let anyone have this power, they're gonna turn into a fucking
too much,
monster.
yeah.
The
It's gonna be
reveals
too much.
of her family lineage, of how she
That
was
is
awesome.
Came to
Yeah,
exist.
She just squirts it.
it's so insane. And then showing up to his house and being like, "Well, I'm your daughter."
Yeah,
Impossible.
I'm number 243 or
2437 or whatever. I thought all of that was just so.
I mean, her introduction is so strong, right? Of
Yeah.
just showing up at that house.
Yeah.
Be like,
was
oh, here's your
the-
baby.
It's so perfectly played out.
Yeah.
All
What
of,
was
all of the show.
The meteor about? Like, remember she bought the house in the land so that she can get the meteor.
Whatever crashes. What
But
was
like,
about to
did we
crash
ever
there?
get
I don't
more
think
info on
they
that?
ever-
Okay, that was
no.
just a cool way to introduce her.
Did you
And
also
it was a really cool way.
Did you also see how Lube Guy was?
Yeah, I
FBI
looked
agent,
that
right?
up. Yeah.
The skinny
Yeah.
FBI agent.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I thought it was. I thought you and I had this conversation, right?
I
where
was
that-
super confused about it.
I thought it was clear as day, and then but I did then after when Kevin brought it up that we never. I was like, oh yeah, I expected Lori to call him out on that. Be like, ah, Lube Guy or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never did it.
Oh, I never caught that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, he
that
just has such a definitive frame.
I don't even think
It was
they-
either him or the guy from Silicon Valley. Which
Yeah.
one of you wiry fucks is it?
There was some extra content put out on a different website
Yeah.
that was talking about him getting fired from the FBI afterwards,
Oh,
after the show.
yeah.
And there's like a memo that goes out that's like, hey, anyone wants to pick up his shit, like these are the things, and one of them was like a thing of like canola oil.
Nah.
Ew.
Yeah.
So he.
But like, what a weird thing to just throw in there.
Similar to how Westworld had their own website that you could sort of decode, and it's this kind of neat
AR.
AR, yeah. Wait, AR is that the
Augmented
word?
reality.
Augmented
Yeah,
reality.
it didn't sound
VR,
right.
virtual reality,
ARG,
IRL.
Yeah.
Augmented reality game.
something like that.
Something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But,
They did that thing with this as well, where it was a journal kind of being written by.
I heard about
whoever-
this.
Yeah.
Lucy James, big old dork, was telling me about it.
Alternate reality game. That's what it's not.
Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
yeah. Because augmented is when you see 3D images
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in your real world or whatever. Yeah, I just think every reveal done in this show was just so well done. And you know what else is well done, Kevin?
This transition, because it's time to talk about some ads. Our first sponsor this week is Upstart. As most of us have found out the hard way, getting into God, I look dumb in this. Into debt is
They'll never take
is
our
easy.
freedom.
Getting out is hard, especially if your credit score isn't great. We've talked about it before. When Greg Miller got his dream job at IGN, he had to drop everything and move across country. Well, doing that is really expensive. When Miller needed money to make his dreams come true, he took out a loan. Unfortunately, his credit score was still very new and not great. So his loan had a very high interest rate. It took him years to pay it all off. If only he had used Upstart. Upstart.com is the revolutionary lending platform that knows you're more than just your credit score and offers smarter interest rates to help you pay off high-interest credit card debt. Upstart goes beyond the traditional credit score. When assessing your credit worthiness, they actually reward you based on your education and job history in the form of a smarter interest rate. Upstart believes you are more than just your credit score. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate in just a few minutes. The best part, once the loan is approved and accepted, most people get their funds the very next business day. If you plan that right, it's the next day. Over 300,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards for meeting their financial goals. Free yourself from the burden of high-interest credit card debt by consolidating everything into one monthly payment with Upstart. See why Upstart is ranked #1 in their category with over 300 businesses on Trustpilot, and hurry to upstart.com/morning to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes a few minutes and won't affect your credit. That's upstart.com/morning. Our next ad is Manscaped. Support for Kinda Funny Morning Show comes from Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Jingle balls to the walls, fellas. Listen up. Untrimmed pubes are a thing of the past. It's time to gear up and get yourself the gift of shaving this holiday season. I'm talking about Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0. Look, Tim and Greg both got these, and they can't stop talking about how smooth their balls are.
Kevin, you want to touch my balls?
No, God, no. Finally, hassle-free grooming without the risk of nicking your nads. I've used the wrong tool for the job. I'm shaving my beard. Might as well do the downstairs, too, and oh, no, my balls are bleeding. It's happened. It's happened. That's what I'm saying. You got to get the right tool for the job. Is this an
ad lib or is this what the copy they sent?
No, I added that part.
Oh my
it's
God,
my personal
it's so
experience.
graphic.
Have you never done this?
Oh yeah, I've nicked my
Don't
balls.
use the wrong razor.
Blood everywhere. I think, did I
That's
just
how
pass
it
out? Did I
was.
pass out?
Guys, that's how it was. That's why I wish I had the Lawnmower 2.0, which comes in the Perfect Package 2.0. Sorry, they threw me off here. Never again with their Lawnmower 2.0 has a proprietary advanced skin-safe technology, so this trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. It's also waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. The Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0 also includes the crop preserver and anti-chafe ball deodorant moisturizer. You already put deodorant on your armpits. Why are you not putting the deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? And yes, your balls stink. Speaking of sweaty and stinky balls, Tim loves Crop Reviver. The product, along with the crop preserver, keeps your balls from sweating, smelling, and stinking. And these products smell good. 'Tis the season to manscape, so get yourself, your dad, your brother, and friends the best gift of all, the Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code MORNING at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you.
And thank you, Damon Lindelof.
Whoever can break out that video and send it to me when just Dr. Manhattan's reading the Manscaped ad. I almost lost it when I looked down because you did a great job.
I know. I caught myself too. It was real tough. Now, is there anything we didn't like of the show?
I didn't love that they killed off Don Johnson in the first episode. I knew they had, I understand why they did it. I think it's a great choice, but I just love Don Johnson.
It's interesting that character, he was part of Cyclops?
I assume so.
Right.
They didn't really, yes, he was, because his wife was a main member. So you have
awesome.
to.
That was such a great moment.
That seemed unrealistic, though. Like the
trap
button,
door. It was so good, though.
It was very good, and I really liked it. But damn, because it was so far apart, I didn't put it together till this moment. Like, oh yeah, that lady was his wife.
Yeah. But I like the trap door.
So he was a really
because,
fucked up dude then?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think what they said was, and they never gave you clarification.
Yeah.
But basically, what I'm thinking happened is that the senator and the police chief were in cahoots, and they were both controlling both sides.
Yeah, they
So that
orchestrated the White Knight, right? What it was called?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they were doing, like, basically they were just nefarious together, and they were pulling the strings for both the cops and for the what are they called? Minutemen, right? That's the Klansmen. No, who are the Rorschach guys?
The 7th Cavalry.
7th
Seventh
Cavalry,
Cavalry. And so when Regina King thought she was reporting to her police chief, what she was really doing was just reporting to a bad guy.
Right.
But they could have done a better job of nailing and hammering that home, because really the only scene we get is with the wife, and you're like, okay, she's evil, but was he evil? I don't really know.
Well, I mean, we do get a scene where he's like, doing cocaine? Right?
Yeah, but
and
that's
it's just kind of like,
But
this is...
that's
I
who
thought that was
doesn't?
meant to
I
be
was
like
gonna say
this
that doesn't
character's-
make you a
it's
bad
so
guy.
normalized.
does it?
I
nowadays.
came out, I saw Andy just railing through a fucking yard worth of cocaine earlier
A
today.
yard of
Jesus
cocaine.
Christ.
It took him 40 minutes. To get
Another awesome reveal in that really. I wanted to go back to. Can you bring back that wiki page up, because I believe the end of episode 2, when it is revealed that Adrian Veidt is in this weird mansion
dome
with all
thing.
of these clones after he does the play The Watchmaker's Son.
And he
Phillips
actually
and
turns him,
Crookshanks.
yeah.
Crookshanks.
Crookshanks. What a fantastic reveal that, here comes naked fake Dr. Manhattan. And to me, that's such a cool connection point for somebody like me who isn't so connected to this franchise, just somebody who likes the movie. Because I see, Adrian Veidt, and there was also that cool nod where it said Adrian Veidt is dead in one of the early episodes where somebody's reading a newspaper.
Yeah, because it had been a certain amount of years.
Yeah. So, this whole play reveal, I think, is so cool. And when they burn the guy, you wonder, wait, is he actually
Yeah.
burning?
What's happening?
And then
Is it a
all
robot?
the clones take off their masks, and what is going on? And I'm such a sucker for moments like that, and that's a big reason why you could tell I love like Kojima games and stuff, because when the viewer is just thinking, what the hell is happening in the show right now, and then the show ends. I'm such a sucker for that, because I want to know, what is that reveal? What does that mean? Even the moment with the elephant. What the hell was that?
And they didn't touch back at that either.
Yeah,
What
they
was the
mentioned an
elephant
elephant later on.
Remember when she's getting the stuff that
Oh,
she
right,
from her
when she-
grandfather
yeah,
and she
she
breaks in?
transfusion
It's
from the
I
elephant.
got to assume because elephants
Don't
have
forget.
great memories.
They don't forget.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really weird. And on the nose.
It's such a weird Watchmen thing, though, that I like. Whatever, that's part of their fantasy world.
Really quickly to just touch on something you were just talking about. For me, I had that moment of where we see that they're all clones, and you're like, really like, what the hell is going on? Those moments are awesome, but for me, it's the other moment that comes after the actual answers to that, where we start getting like when he pulls it out of like the crab trap.
Yeah.
And like we see him make one of these people, and I think that was the next episode. That's how the next episode starts, maybe.
Yeah.
Puts them in a big incubator.
That's where I was like, fuck, we're actually gonna get answers with this show.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, I'm in.
Yeah, and I love the reveal of, you're like, where the fuck is he? And then he shoots the guy out on the catapult. And at first I thought, I was like, oh, that effect was terrible. That guy just disappeared. And then you realize, oh wait, he's in a bubble.
Yeah.
And whatever's
Yeah.
outside of that bubble, you just can't see, because when he goes out there, and then it turns out he's on a Europa, I think what it was.
Yeah, one of the moons
One
of
of the moons
Jupiter,
of
yeah.
Jupiter. And he was just like, and then he was arranging the bodies that he just catapulted through years and years of just killing these things.
And what
Fucking
another awesome
horrible.
reveal later on, where it turns out he wasn't just saying "save me," he said "save me, daughter."
Yeah.
And she appreciated that he'd used and
It was
spent
the-
a lot of
'Cause she
time.
won-
Appreciated. She
won,
saw him
yeah.
bow. Yeah,
Yeah.
she saw him bow.
Well,
to
she
her
also
will.
knew
And
that
then he
she realized that was
kills
the
her.
only way possible that she was going to come for him, as if he
Yeah.
if he bowed
Acknowledged
down.
it.
and
As usual, he's
acknowledged
still the
it.
smartest guy.
Yeah.
But and-
Got it.
Sorry, just really quickly to continue off that, I love their back and forth of like, cool, we have the moment where we see that he's like, you're not my daughter, I'm never gonna call you daughter. Then we'd see this giant reveal of sorry daughter, and then
Save me, daughter.
save me daughter, yeah. And then we have the moment of like, well, I'm gonna freeze them and then I'll drop it and it'll destroy everything there. And then he kills her, you know? And it's one of those things where it's
pretty
like,
brutal.
not only did he save the world again, which he fucking loves, but like he also proved that he's smarter, better than her, you know?
That shot where she has her hands out and something goes through it and she looks through the hole in her hand. You're like, what a fucked
So
up
messed
thing.
up,
Like,
yeah.
did he
How
kill all the
could-
cops too? Because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people died there.
not a lot of people, because he said it was only like 150.
We saw all the
rated.
cops
Yeah.
get into the cars,
Yeah.
though. Like they made it a point to show a lot of the
But
cops
those-
getting under the.
but-
That's my
My-
thing. This whole
Doesn't-
thing.
yeah,
this
that
is one of the
should've-
few wishy-washy things of it. Of like when they tell Regina King to run, and she does, right? But Lori Blake, or no, somebody else hangs out in the
pod.
the
Oh, the
call,
daughter.
mom does.
and it's like,
Yeah.
clearly that
Daughter,
would have torn
daughter,
that
yeah.
shit apart, right?
Well, I
Like,
mean,
it would have torn
the-
the car. It would have punched through the things.
It punched
and so then
through the big machine above them, the world then.
And it raises the question, honestly, and it's not going to be popular, and you're all going to laugh me out of the room. Is she dead? Is True dead as well? Yet went through her hand. Yeah, that thing came down on her. She's the smartest woman in the world. Like I wouldn't put it past her that she got under something, went under did. Yeah, that. What is it? Her mom's still alive, right? Her daughter's still alive. She's got
cloning
clones.
herself. She's got the pills too.
Yeah, memories in the
Yeah.
elephants.
What about the reveal of the senator when he goes into the thing and then they get teleported and he comes out just mush? Just
Yeah. that was
I
awesome.
I love how that's then used to
teleport the other
transport people
yeah, 'cause
out.
they can get him out.
Yeah.
That
So
was cool.
I don't
cool.
remember. I don't remember them talking about Hooded Justice or the Minutemen in the movie. Was that already a pre-established thing, or is this something
What?
they made for the show?
Hooded Justice.
The
Yeah.
Hooded Justice character, I don't remember him being in the movie.
I
Or
believe in the comics though.
he's-
They were the old dudes.
Yes,
they
they're,
were like
they're the
yeah,
first
they're like
band.
Justice
The
Society.
founders.
They
Again,
were,
this is a DC book, and it's like so based on DC stuff that I think
Yeah.
they're like Justice Society of America versus
Got it.
the New Minutemen, right, or whatever, being the Justice League.
So
Yeah.
the whole episode.
wait,
with,
really quick. They were in the movie. It was just a very, very small part. It's the intro.
It's like
Remember,
a flash bulb, right?
Yeah.
It's Laurie's
great,
mom,
great intro.
right?
Yeah, it's Laurie's mom. It's a couple other people that we see, and we see the dude with the S dollar bill on his.
I don't remember his name, but yeah.
But he
Great
was like
intro.
he had a cape on that
He was
had gotten
dead.
stuck, and he had gotten shot.
Yeah.
And I even like that too. And they go back and they start talking about that. And the guy's like, basically he started the group just to make money and get famous. Where he's like, I don't actually want to do any of this fighting crime. He's like, we have an opportunity to fight. He's like, bro, just relax.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to do
You're
that.
an icon now.
The TV show that they create though, American Hero Story or whatever it's called. As somebody who was totally just not aware of Hooded Justice or anything like that, but you as the viewer are aware what it is what the show is, and they keep showing this white guy having sex with somebody, and the hood, and he's having sex with another man, and they keep showing that it's a white guy, but as that black and white nostalgia episode is slowly revealing who Hooded Justice is, I thought that was so well paced out.
So well done.
Even up until the very, very end. Sorry, the doorbell rang and I just immediately lost my train of thought.
It was really cool.
So
It
distracting.
was really cool that like the cops had hung him, and that he was coming back with the noose on, and he grabs that burlap sack to go save someone because he's like, I can't save this girl without the cops getting pissed at me.
Right.
Yeah.
The moment where Hooded Justice goes to the movie theater, that's where I was trying to get to. Goes to the movie theater, and the black woman is sitting there crying and saying, like,
Oh, yeah.
these messages were playing. I don't know what happened. I just killed everybody. What the hell? And for a second, I think the idea, at least what the feeling that I got was, is this real?
Yeah.
Are these Cyclops people really brainwashing people? There's no way. This has got to be in his head, because then he calls Captain Metropolis and is like, hey, you have to get down here. They're using projectors to brainwash people. And Captain Metropolis is like, bro, come on. Like,
Brainwashing?
Like,
Come
and
on,
then
that's
he makes that really
ridiculous.
like racist comment of, I'm not going to go help black unrest or something like that. He makes a comment, you can go figure out black unrest right now. Why don't you come over here and have sex with me, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then he finally goes in there and then kills Cyclops, and then sees the projector with the voiceover recording.
So great.
Kill everybody. Do not harm any white people or white men, and then kills that man. And that's when it clicks of,
When they brawl into the grocery store, no,
so great.
fucking
And
good.
then the reveal after that of, the projector is how he convinced
And he had
Don
the
Johnson.
flashlight, yeah.
So
So
cool.
good,
Like,
yeah.
god damn, it's so well done, man.
Yeah, and like it's back to what we're talking about. If they had answers for everything,
Yeah.
that you wanted to go through and do.
And we saw them, and
Yeah.
it's just like,
And they hit a lot of them in plain sight, like
Yeah.
with True's daughter / mom.
Right.
When she got introduced, I Googled the name they had for her. Was it like Beyond, I think, or whatever?
something, yeah.
And like it's like, I forget, Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
Stands for like
Seen it.
mother or something.
No, it stands for like, basically it's like a name in holding, where it's like you don't have a name yet kind of thing. And I was like, something's
Like
up with
John
this
Smith
one.
or something like that.
like
Yeah.
a proxy name or
It-
something
Yeah,
like
John
that.
Doe, rather.
honestly, this may be the best season of a show that I've seen. Like, it's just crazy because I feel like it had so much baggage.
The name Beyond means secretive and is of Vietnamese origin. Beyond is a name that's used by parents who are considering baby names for girls.
That's
Oh,
really
cool.
cool.
That's great.
God
That's really
damn, that's so
interesting.
smart.
I mean, again, all the stuff with the alternate history of Vietnam being the
Yep.
51st state or whatever it was,
Yeah.
and like
it's cool to see that explored. And
it's
like
very
so,
interesting. And her her parents dying, and she had to be in an orphanage and all that stuff. And then that heart wrenching episode where her grandma comes to pick her up, and then her grandma dies. You're like, fuck.
dies.
Right?
Jesus.
Yeah, that episode was so good. All the
stuff's
flashback stuff
great.
was so good.
No.
That,
Yeah.
the Manhunt stuff. And also, if I can just point one thing out, because we're talking about a lot of fake fictional history.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a double one. You know, fictional history. Yeah. I knew nothing of the Black Wall Street massacre in Tulsa.
Oh yeah, no, me neither.
Like,
I was watching that with this must have been episode 1 or maybe it was episode 2, but we were showing it to Poe, and Poe teaches criminal sociology,
Yeah.
and so I think when it happened, he's like, it must have been episode 1. He's like, this
Yeah,
is
it is
real,
episode-
right?
I
This
did not know
happened.
that was
And he
real
sent me
until right
all
now.
this stuff afterwards, all these articles. And it's like, oh my god.
God.
Yeah, I saw a
crazy.
bunch of articles being like, "Hey, this like you didn't know that this
Yeah.
was real, but it is
Yeah.
real."
I had, I don't remember ever being taught that in school, which
Nah, I
is like
was never
really
taught that
crazy. Do you think that she walked on water at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She had to,
100%.
Well, I
No,
love
I didn't like
that.
that she threw away the eggshell. I was talking to Jen about it. If Dr. Manhattan put
Eat
his
the
powers
whole
in the
damn
egg,
thing.
I'm like, she's like, it'll taste. I'm like, I
I
don't care
thought
what it
she-
tastes like. I want to be Dr. Manhattan.
I thought it would have been very interesting. Obviously, they're going to do another season of the show, and there has to be some level of.
But here's the thing:
there.
do you want that to happen?
Well, before we get to that,
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna take it outside and just throw it in the trash.
That would have been really cool. I
I
feel
thought
like
she was
that
gonna,
would have
like,
been really
fuck
cool.
it.
Like,
No one should have
yeah,
this
we
power.
can't do this.
No
that
one
would have
should
been an
have this
awesome way to
power.
end
The
the
series.
series.
The whole
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
Where like she takes it out and she looks at the pool and then just opens up the trash lid and throws it in and is like, I'm done with this. I don't ever want to live this life again.
I feel like with the beat of like, "Hey, you need to watch me stand on the water," like that would have been cool for her to look there and like that been the connection of like,
Yeah.
no, this power needs to stop.
Yeah.
And just crushing.
Also, another really cool
Little bird
reveal
gets
of when he does teleport the kids away. Where did you send him? I sent him with your grandfather. And then at the end, she walks into the theater, and the grandfather's there with the kids asleep on the stage.
Kind of
So cool.
Where it all started.
But even like a little bit more than that, like the grandfather was he like talk. This was all planned out by Dr. Manhattan a while back, so it was just like that connection was already there,
Dude.
Like it just
When he's having the back and forth conversations, and
she says
she's
that.
like, why did you kill him? Why did he have the KKK robe in his closet? And he
like,
asks,
who?
and he's like, what are you
like-
talking? And it was like, oh my
goes,
god,
"Yeah, I
how
just
great
did
is
it.
that?
She was the
thing.
cause,
Yeah.
yeah.
Her, I think Regina King.
Regina King.
Her acting in that moment of being like, "Fuck, this was
Did
me."
I just caused all
and
this?
Then, and then the on the other side of it, the opposite side of the
Opposite.
acting spectrum of
Cal
Abar being like, or Dr. Manhattan sitting there and being
yeah.
like, "Huh, chicken or egg,"
yeah.
and it's just so perfect.
So perfect.
And that's the
this
thing.
show
I
is
think.
so
I think
goddamn good.
on in the comics, like we were talking about, of reading Dr. Manhattan, it is that he's lost his humanity. He's cold. Blah blah blah. Seeing it happen in real time, in quotes, of him living in 2 different periods, and like when. It doesn't happen the first time, right? He does something with Regina, and then when he's with Adrian, he laughs at a joke
Right.
she just
She-
did,
yeah.
and it's like that's awesome. Of
It
like
is really cool.
really getting to show you how
Yeah.
this is and what it's like.
Well, yeah, because they have both the scenes, right? He
Yeah.
laughs and he's like, "It's okay. I'm with a friend right now that's telling me the exact
Yeah,
opposite
exactly.
of what you're
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
that I have no
No sense of
imagination."
imagination.
And then you see that scene with Adrian
Yeah.
Veidt later, and he
So
laughs because
fun,
he's with the other person.
It's
What a
perfect.
cool concept.
Yeah.
What a
It's perfect.
fucking
The
mind-bending
execution of
concept.
this was amazing, and if they do a second season, I hope that they put in as much care as they have into this season.
And that's where I'm at,
'Cause
where
it's-
honestly I don't want another
Yeah.
season, but it's in the same breath of when they announced prequels to the Watchmen comic. I was like, do not do that. And then like Doomsday Clock, I was like, do not do that. And the next show, I'm like, do not do that. If they're going to nail it and do cool things
Yeah.
with it, fine. So it's like, as much as I loved this season, I would like it to end here because I think that's how things should go sometimes,
Right.
that we just need to end shit and be
The
done with
perfect
it.
book.
But if they're like season 2 gets announced, I'm going to be fucking excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Same
be ready
here.
to go see
Me
what's
too.
happening.
If they can somehow, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just going back to the pool moment, the lunatic on the grass moment with the Beatles playing and her foot about to hit the water. It's such an Inception to the top fall moment, and I am such a sucker for that shit. And
You
then
are.
the cuts to credits, and I in my bed audibly said, "Fucking A, man!
Yeah.
What a show, dude! What
Yeah.
a perfect show! It's perfect."
It really is.
I don't want them to make a second season, but I'll be excited when it comes out
Yeah.
because I feel like they can do a lot with her character, specifically if they can start turning her into the Dr. Manhattan character
Yeah.
and see what that transition looks
And
like.
that'd be
in
the
real
fun
time.
thing.
That'd be cool.
That'd be the interesting thing of like, what do you do with that? The problem is, do we
Break
need a
out
world?
Owlman.
Do we need
know what I mean?
Night Owl? Right?
Whatever.
Owlman
Owlman is
yeah,
what
Night
was. That's what she'd call him. She saw him now.
Yeah, exactly right. That's what it would. Yeah, that would be cool. It would be cool to see her wrestling, I guess, with like these powers, because I'm sure it's not going to be like a light switch for her. She's got to
And the
figure it
fact
out.
that she's got kids.
Yeah,
that's
and then
also
does
different.
She starts losing
yeah.
her humanity, you assume, or does she not? Is she able to?
I want to shout out the really quick because it's one of the middle episodes that can likely get forgotten amongst this really awesome, cool arc. But Looking Glass and him finding out everything was a hoax.
yes.
Oh
Tim
my
Blake Nelson. I
God.
was just gonna say I brought his name out. That
Fucking
actor is
great.
fucking awesome.
So
And
good.
his story
Great.
arc was awesome.
Yeah.
And
So
so heartbreak. Like that's the perfect example of how good this show is. Is that you just
The B-plot
they reveal
is
to you.
insane.
Well, no, but they reveal to you that a character, this thing that's been looming over him the entire time, isn't there, and you should be happy about that.
Yeah.
But you're not, because it's heartbreaking, because so much of his identity was tied into that he's like,
Mm-hmm.
where the fuck do I go now? It's so good.
You feel
So
kind of
good.
you feel
And
You should be
tricked.
relieved, but you're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
You're like sad for the character.
Yeah.
And I love that his character, like, when confronted with the truth, still sides with like what's right, not these crazy white supremacists that are trying to win him over, so that they can like get back at Veidt kind of thing.
I love even
Like-
when he walks up, he's like, "Be cool." And she's like, "Mirror guy."
God
when
damn.
when he
show.
knocks Adrian out at the end, I just love that.
Yeah,
he
so
talks
good.
too much.
Yeah.
Talks too much.
And it's just what a good like mirror character to Rorschach, where it's like Rorschach was broken and this guy was broken, but in a different way that like.
But he was fixed by the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is cool.
All right. Well, that's been Screencast because we got to go for Gamescast. Thank you so much for joining us.
So many casts.
Too many
You
casts.
guys, everyone needs to watch Watchmen because it's so goddamn
Yeah.
good. If you want to follow us on the social medias, you can follow Nick at Nick_Scarpino. You can follow Greg at GameOverGreggy. You can follow Andy at Maximum Cortez. You can follow me at Kind of Fun Kevin. Thank you so much. Go to the movies, check something out. Maybe Rise of Skywalker. Maybe Cats.
Rise.
Rise.
And watch Leftovers.
No, don't.
Damon
Bye.
Lindelof, baby.
Bye.